Good morning. Filming from Beijing, China, under soft quarantine. A few days ago I had an idea about making videos. So just had a thought. I wonder if I should make a video series of being under this soft quarantine in China. Because it's quite an experience, but at the same time I'm worried it might be too boring. Because you're not really doing much today, any day. Like, this is my entertainment right now. And then this is basically the area I lock myself in every single day. And since then, a lot of things has happened, so I figured I should go through a timeline with you all about what's been happening. Let me just close the door. Yeah, okay, so soft quarantine is actually a word I use. I know it's not official, but it basically describes the type of lifestyle that we have for people that are not in Wuhan or Hubei, but we all are kind of in danger of being infected. So basically right now everybody just stays at home. All the provinces have their school starts delayed and work start delayed. Basically you don't really see anyone on the street anymore. Everybody have their mask on when they have to go out. A lot of people, they just basically stay at home, and I had so much time. I went through all the closet, all the cabinet. I threw out so many things that are that have been inspired. I found something that's from 2009. Yeah, and yeah, actually this shirt, I just found it. It's at least 12 years old. I mean, bought it at least 12 years before, and then it fit me big at the time. Now it's tight, so if it looks weird. So the coronavirus in China, I believe you all kind of know that it started from Wuhan. People eating bats, bat soup, which really blew my mind to begin with. This time coming to China, I had some plans, some goals, places to go to either for business potential or to just travel. There was a plan. I was going to stay for a longer period, but the day I arrived actually was on January 19th, 2020. It's either that day or just around that time, Chinese government announced that these novel coronavirus, can be transmitted between humans. That's when they just start to see it as a huge or somewhat huge threat. But that's already after I got here. So really after that, things just start to go downhill. And then, I am angry too, mostly towards the people that started it. Like, why are you eating with what's wrong with chicken? Why don't you just eat, your normal beef and porks and stuff? But yeah, but then in the end, it comes down to how you control it when it's already done. I would say possibly the only country that can have some huge disease happening from people eating stuff that are not supposed to be eaten, that in this case is probably the only country will be China. But on the other hand, the only country that can have a proper response to control it once things get spread out is probably China as well. This I will actually talk a bit more during the video. But yeah, let's go back to the timeline. So I arrived on 19th. That was a Sunday, I believe. On the Tuesday, 21st, we drove from Beijing to Shandong. That's where my dad's side extended family are. Because Chinese New Year was just a few days after that. So he was planning to take me there to spend the Chinese New Year with them. But when we got there that day, the condo he bought there had a power outage for 3 days. So we stayed in a hotel for 3 days. Good morning, guys. This is my view today from 11th floor in the hotel. There is no screen or anything covering it. You can see those cars down on the street. Yeah, that's the visibility today. Smog. During the time the coronavirus started to grow more and more into people's mind, and we have been wearing masks the whole time while in hotel, especially, there's people in and out, right? On the 23rd, they closed down Wuhan. I believe the day before people were joking, you guys should just close Wuhan. And then on 23rd, that I think actually happened. Basically, no one, because that's where the virus started, and then in order to stop it from spreading, they need to close down the city, especially in this specific period of time during Chinese New Year. That's when everybody gets their day off. The biggest human migration annually is during this time. Everybody goes home, spend time with their family, and meet their friends, and that's when they closed it. But although yes, people do say those that want to go home, they've already left. On 24th, that was Chinese New Year's Eve. Luckily, the condo in Shandong had their power back, so we moved back home. This is from this day on, I believe. There are live websites that count the patient number increase every day. So from this day, I believe they start to find more than 500 new patients until 2000. That's one single day, how many patients they found, new patients. Actually, at that time, the little town called Heze in Shandong, that's where we stayed at. It's still like really, third tier city. So we haven't gotten an infection at that time, but right now, yes. So actually from then, I started to have thoughts whether or not I should leave. And my friends in Canada, actually all around the world, been asking, why are you in China? Are you coming back? You should come back. At that time, actually, my concern was airports. Because in Shandong, in that small little town, you actually don't have many people. You're not that populated. And every day I just went from home to the office. My dad have a big office there for some stuff. So every day I just go there. Don't really have any other temptations, so I was really productive. I finished book really fast, and videos and all those stuff, the things that I used to procrastinate, they are all being done. So I thought it was good. Also, the reason we stayed in Shandong was based on the data of each provinces. Beijing actually had more cases than Shandong at that time, and so we thought we might just stay here because the density and stuff, all things considered, it might be safer. So we didn't go back to Beijing. With that, if you compare it to the risk of going to airport, being in an enclosed area with so many other people for the whole duration of the flight, that did seem like a bigger risk to me. So I was, it was a dilemma. I was considering it, but didn't pull the trigger until 29th. That's when US first announced they are canceling flights. Everybody was talking about it, that once US starts, other country will follow. With this news coming out, my friend in Vancouver really was so worried. I tried to call Canadian Embassy in Beijing. They were in holiday break, so I can't contact them. My friend contacted Canadian government, and Canadian government gave me a call, suggesting that if you can leave. You are not in a highly concerned area, saying I am not in Wuhan or Hubei specifically, so it is not their high concern, but if you can go, we recommend you go, but we cannot force you to go. They told me that they are trying to have a conclusion or result within 24 hours in regards to what they want to do with their citizens. And the next morning on the 30th, all these dates and time I'm indicating are Beijing time, so there might be some date difference. So on the 30th morning, Canada announced that they're flying back 160 Canadian from Wuhan back to Canada and suspending direct flights to China. That morning, that news was basically what made us realize, yeah, you need to go now. Pack up everything in Shandong. After lunch, we start driving along with two of my other cousins that are working in Beijing. So we drove from Shandong to back to Beijing. It was supposed to be a 5-6 hour drive. It took us way more than that, like almost probably 10 hours because the highway checkpoints. This is the lineup. We're trying to get into another province. Police right over there, and we're all lined up. They're either checking your temperature. Oh, this one is a automatic thing. Oh, that was fast. Here's another police checkpoint. I hope it is the last one because we're getting really close to Beijing. Been in the line for, I guess, almost 2 hours now. On the 31st,
I'm declaring a public health emergency of international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
Alcohol swap. I feel like I'm getting a blood test. Oxygen level in your blood. So essentially, if you are infected, your blood loses its ability to contain oxygen in it. I have 99, which is good. Actually, one of my dad's friend, he during the time he went out of that town in Shandong, and then he was trying to come back. He himself had an ID that's out of province, and then he was driving a plate that has Beijing, a car. He was driving a car with Beijing plate on it, and he basically was almost not able to get through the checkpoint. In the end, he has to show them his business card that he was working here and have one of his colleagues to come out to pick him up. So that's how strict it is. All the little countryside towns, communities, they set physical barrier, blocking off the entrances and only allow people who lives in there to enter. So, self-quarantine. That's what I call, yes, we are not in Wuhan, but we are all basically in danger with people moving around carrying who knows what. As you can see right now, there is nobody on the street. People usually stay home or only go out for the necessity, like us. Try not to touch anything. I'll go slap. Floor so we can get some veggies and stuff while it's morning. Although everyone have a mask, but still, if you can, try not to squeezing where everybody stands in. Or just wait for them to get out and then come back to pick up your spinach or whatever. Oh my god, just why are people kept cutting them off? Yeah, I mean, like, although with this situation, people still like cut right in front of you. No personal space at all. Man. There's one rule that's kind of different. So if you buy loose products, say like the banana we just got, you need to wait it at a different spot than checkout. Because whereas you literally just bring everything to checkout, and checkout will have a scale and they will just punch in everything for you and weight it and putting in the money, the price for you. But here it's different. So you have 2 human contacts here at least. Here we are at the checkout. Pull a nap and scan the phone. That's cool. And then we're gonna pop a bottle of rosé, and what is this?
Cheers.
in China, it's the, how do I call it, the place people live. The community is usually, say, built by one developer and then they close it with gates. So like people living here have the rights to go in, and they close all the gates right now, and only people who live there can come in. No visitors, no cars. You only people that lives here can come in. After coming back to Beijing, my grandma, my mom's side of the mom, really wanted to visit me. My mom specifically said not to because, you know, we just came from Shandong. Who knows what we might be carrying. So we lived really close to each other. We walked to our building and met up downstairs, kept really far distance, and, you know, no hugs, nothing, and you just talk for a bit and then go home. Pay attention and keep distance. Find things for yourself to do at home. Well, in Shandong we have that indoor cycle that I could use for some bit of exercise. Well, in Beijing at home, my dad got a rowing machine. This thing.
推迟到2月10号了，现在看看预期。
Okay.